Hello, my name is Pandora, and today I'm going to show you this cool little sewing box. So the top compartments open up like that, and then you can pull out these other compartments. But before I show you what's inside, I wanted to show you what I've done since I've gotten it. I got it at an antique shop, and the seller there told me that it used to have like this little handle that went up over like that, but the handle was broken off, and one of these little hinges was broken and he had to fix it. And one of these little bars that keep it together, I believe, yeah, this one was broken off entirely. So I took one of these original screws out and I went to the hardware store, got very similar ones, and I was able to attach this on. A lot of these were loose, so I tightened them up. And then over here, these two screws are not mine, someone else put them in. But this one, it was just coming out, and when I tried to put the original screw in, I found out it was actually broken. Like the screw itself was like broken off. Kind of weird. But luckily I had decided to buy an extra one, which was good because I needed it. So without further ado, let me show you what's inside. So in this first box, by the way, I completely reorganized this from when I got it. When I got it, all the original items inside were kind of like everywhere without a whole lot of organization. So I reorganized it, and it came with a lot of tools actually. So it came with one of these things. I'm not actually sure what you call it, but it came with that. It also came with this really handy thread, seam ripper. That actually has this curved handle, so it makes it very comfortable to hold, which is really nice because the whole time I've been using this very tiny, cheap plastic one, so it's nice to have a larger one. It also came with this little device. I have no idea what this is. I think it's some sort of needle threader. That's my best guess, but I haven't been able to figure out how to work it. Yeah, very interesting. It also came with a bunch of little hand needles. So all of these little, like, things that are covered in black paper, those are all needles, which is pretty cool. Yeah, let me take some of this out. This came with it. To me, this just looks like a nail filer. I assume it probably has some sort of sewing use since it was in this box of sewing items, but I don't know, to me it just looks like a nail filer, and I'm not sure what you use it for, but I'm still a beginner, so maybe I don't know. It also came with a couple of machine needles, and it also had come with a bunch of bobbins and a zipper foot for a different machine than my own. So I took those out, and I'm planning on selling them online so that they can get into the hands of someone who can actually use them. What else? It also came with a thimble, which was really convenient because I had been looking for one, but just one, and most of the craft stores that I had looked at only sold them in like little baggies of 5, and I don't need 5, I just need one. So it was really nice that came with that. It also came with these very large needles. Not sure what this isn't actually, I think this fuzzy part was put on so you can push it through, but it doesn't have a little hole for any sort of thread. So I don't know what I would use that for. But then there's this big needle that almost looks like a yarn needle, but the eye is still pretty small for yarn, but the actual needle itself is very large. So maybe this is supposed to be used for upholstery, but I think those kind of needles are curved. I'm not sure. Like I said, I'm still a beginner, so I'm still learning these things. Let's see. It also came with some, I'm assuming these are old bars of soap to mark on dark clothing, which is really nice. I had bought some fabric pencils from Joann's that don't really work too well. Oh, this is the curved needle I was thinking about. I'm assuming this is used for like some sort of upholstery. Yeah, I'm not really sure. I've never worked on any project like that, but it's there if I need it, so that's pretty cool. And yeah, there's just a couple other random bits and bobs, little clothing pins, all that good stuff. So let me put this back and show you this other side. So a lot of these buttons are my own. I kind of put, this is the button area. I didn't have too many buttons to begin with, but I put what I did have in here. But most of these buttons are what came with the machine. And it's kind of interesting. Whoever owned this previously must have been German because all of the packaging is in German. So the grandmother who owned this before me had quite a collection of buttons. There's these cute little decorative things. There's a bunch of these big white plasticky buttons. A couple of these like gold and brown sort of buttons. A lot of, this is actually mine, but a lot of buttons still in the packaging. And then under here, no, it's very buried. This little compartment is very full, but there's a lot of these little tiny, I'm not sure what you would call these, but they clip onto each other. So I have a pretty big collection of those now, which is pretty nice. The event that I need them. So now that we've gone through, oh, I almost forgot to show. This little tin, let's see if I can open it with one hand. Maybe not, let me put my camera down. This little tin has a bunch of like little miscellaneous buttons that weren't part of a bigger packaging, but also these little fasteners. Let me see if I can actually grab one. Okay, whatever. You can see in there. It comes with like a bunch of like little fasteners and little hooks and all those fun things. So yeah, it's nice to have all the little small pieces in this little convenient tin so that they don't get lost everywhere, which is also in German. Pretty nice. All right, without further ado, let me show you the cool part, the part that actually folds out. So we'll start on this side again. Actually, I'll open it all up. They all kind of blend together. Alright, so this is where I put all of my thread. Now the story with thread for this box is it came with mostly these little bits of thread, bundles of thread that aren't on spools. And the funny thing is a lot of these, does this one say it? Yeah, it says Baumwolle, or Baumwoll. And I saw Woll or Wolle, and I'm like, oh, that's probably wool. This is like wool thread. That's cool. Until I actually looked it up, and it does mean wool, but I forgot that Baum means tree. So it's tree wool, and tree wool is cotton. So I learned a new word in German. Cotton is tree wool. Found that kind of amusing. But that's what came with the box. All these other little wooden spools that you see here, I had bought this at the same antique shop, and it was just like a large plastic bag of just random thread. And most of the thread was either cotton or silk, with a couple of exceptions. But I went ahead and organized all of it. So everything you see on this side is modern thread that I had already bought. All of these spools that have the barcodes, all of these ones, and everything over there is all ones that I bought, and they only fit in this bottom compartment because it's a little bit thicker than the ones up here. But yeah, this is all of what I bought. Polyester's kind of over here. It's somewhat organized, but not really. I keep most of the polyester here, all the cotton here, and I put all the silk threads here. So these small wooden ones are the ones that came in that large bag that I had bought in the same antique place. And I don't know, it's pretty cool. It's all little bits of colors. Oh, these are silk threads that I had bought new as well. But yeah, it's very soft. I like them very much. Yeah, just a bunch of vintage thread. Some of them over here, the bag that I bought included quite a bit of empty ones, which I guess is kind of a ripoff, but it was really cheap to begin with, and I still think that these little, oh, oops, well, okay then, I'll maybe not mess with antique spools too much, but I think that these little wooden antique spools are still kind of cool to look at, and I can always rewind some thread on if I need to. Like if I decide that I don't want this random bit of thread on cardboard, I can just put it on one of these empty spools. And there's quite a few others that just had like only a little bit of thread on, not enough for me to like confidently do a full project with it, so I kind of just consider it mostly empty. This was a major mistake because this beautiful silk thread in the most wonderful color, probably my favorite color here. A lot of the spools didn't have that like little cut in it that you can like wrap the thread through to keep it from unwinding as it is right now. So I had gotten my whittling knife and I had tried to cut a little slit in there, and then I accidentally cut some of the thread, and I don't think I actually cut that much of it, but I'm still gravely disappointed in myself for ruining such a wonderful bit of thread. And, you know, I can probably still use some of it, but very angry at myself for being so careless. But yeah, this is this wonderful box that I had bought. And it keeps all of my thread nicely. Before I just had it, excuse me, all thrown together in a bag. Not very organized, but now it is organized in this wonderful box that sits atop my sewing machine. So thank you for listening. I know it's not the most interesting thing in the world, but I hope you're able to nerd out with me on old stuff like this, and I hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching.